Family court mums never sleep, and I woke up very early this morning. I'd like to share my thoughts. The first thought was the people who come and break down doors of families, of mothers protecting children, are SWAT teams. They're police SWAT teams. They're probably armed, goodness knows what. I haven't looked into it very much. But this is terrifying. If it woke me up with a start this morning, imagine the sort of thoughts that my children are having, and when they found out that we were threatened yesterday with having the children taken by force. Imagine how that feels to young children. Now, yesterday I was contacted and told that in a case not too different from mine, a case of a little boy called Cesar, who his mother took from Italy. She was saying that she was a victim of domestic abuse. They were being told, well, he's never been convicted of domestic abuse. What any mother going through the same stuff will tell you is it is extremely hard to get a conviction, and sometimes even reporting is difficult for all sorts of reasons. But her child, a little boy named Cesar, was taken from her by force. The media reports are full of him being ripped away from his mother by his father, by police. He was barefoot and bundled into a car and taken away from his mother. In that case, the media was full of him, the father going, I'm a good dad, all I want is my son. Well, earlier this month, the Italian courts gave that mother sole custody, and the father was given a restraining order, so he's not allowed near the mother and child. She has been vindicated, and it took her years to get to that point. And by that point, the children have lost their childhoods. The mother and children have been through all kinds of stress. They've been financially decimated. Their lives have been destroyed by all of this. This has got to stop, the way that this is happening. Now, yesterday I was contacted by quite a number of parents in Croatia, not just mothers, fathers as well. And these are some of the things that I heard. I was told by a mother, and I've posted this before on social media, that her ex-husband hired people to beat her up. She was hospitalised, bruised. She had the bill from the security company that her ex-husband engaged to have her beaten up, and a female judge in the court refused to believe her and is giving shared custody of the father, of the child to this father. Now, it turns out in a private conversation that that's not the whole story, that the father is a self-declared prolific paedophile. If the mother tells that to the court, she has her chances shoot up dramatically, and this is a fact. There is research demonstrating this, done by American domestic abuse specialist and lawyer called Professor Joan Meyer, that mothers in her situation have a dramatically increased chance of losing custody of their child altogether, of being even criminally sanctioned for reporting the sexual abuse of their child, if that were to happen to her child. And she's reporting that things are happening which are completely inappropriate. So there's another mother fighting the same absolute rubbish stuff going on, for years. Another mother said, described to me all sorts of abuse that she had been through, and because the courts took her child and gave them to the abusive father, who had worn her down to the point that she was in a state of collapse, he had her sectioned and diagnosed with bipolar disorder. This is another tactic I'm hearing about again and again, of men having their wives sectioned and falsely labelled with psychiatric disorders. She's been forced to move back into the home with her abuser, where she endures rape on a regular basis, several times a week. This is sex without her consent. She does not want it. She doesn't want to be there. She is being raped. Let that sink in. How does that feel for children to be living in those kinds of conditions? I spoke with family sort of therapist, psychologist here in Croatia a few years ago who put me through all sorts of things. But one thing she did say is that if families are deeply unhappy, it is not helpful for the children for them to be together. But that is a case of the courts and other public bodies, and this is policy. I'm going to talk about this soon because there are people who are researching this and are very much aware of this. This is government policy. It is propagated by fundamentalist right-wing Christian or other religious extremists. This is not about some sort of nice mainstream religion. This is about nut jobs who believe that the family must stay together at all costs, and they will victimize mothers, they will take their children, they will deprive them of benefits, they will torment them, torture them, imprison them in all sorts of ways just to keep force families to stay together. Now, I know more than anyone that kids would love their families to stay together, but if one of the partners is abusive, is abusing the other ones, then quite frankly, however sad it is, it's better for them at least to have peace, at least to live a childhood which is peaceful and safe and secure and be free of the stress. We'd love, make men behave better. If you want to keep families together, talk to the perpetrator, address male criminal behaviour and violence against women and children. Imprison them, criminalise them, because until you take away their jobs, until you take away their social status, they're going to keep on and on doing this. And it's not just mothers who suffer, it's male children as well who grow up learning messages that perpetrate family violence, societal violence, even war. These are patriarchal, violent models of behaviour which result in war and all kinds of social violence. Huge social costs of all this. Pivot to the perpetrator, talk to them, don't victimise and torture mothers and children.